She lived in a flat and woke up in a closed retirement home. The daughter-in-law had thought of everything except one thing. Nadezhda Sergeyevna opened her eyes and groaned in pain. Her head ached as if it had been beaten with a frying pan all night. With difficulty lifting her head, the elderly woman looked around. Strange. Why was she in this unfamiliar room? Everything looked like a hospital ward, except for the bars on the windows had a little more furniture. She grimaced again in excruciating pain and closed her eyes. Nadezhda resolutely refused to think, at least let the pain ease a little. After a while, it eased a little. Elderly women gained strength and with difficulty sat up in bed. Where was she? What had happened to her? Why didn't she remember anything? She tensed up a little and began to remember recent events. Nadezhda lived alone in a large two-room flat in the center of the city which her late husband, who held a high position in the ministry, had received. Her only son, Pasha, moved out of his mother's home long ago, as soon as he got married. It wasn't because his mother kicked him out or didn't want the young ones to live with her. It just happened that way. Nadezhda could not find a common language with her daughter-in-law. She did not feel at ease with her son's chosen one. This was not how she imagined Pasha's wife. The woman understood that her son's family life was his choice, his own business, and she did not criticize, did not make remarks. But Irina, Pasha's wife, felt her mother-in-law's dislike and responded in the same way. Even in the first days after the wedding, Nadezhda warned, Pavel, Irina, I want to make it clear at once, my house, my rules. I don't interfere in your life and you in mine. You have your own room, do what you like. But other than that, please, no new developments. I want to spend the rest of my life the way I used to. Wait until I'm gone, then redecorate as you like. This conversation took place when Irina wanted to throw out all the furniture and buy new ones and rearrange everywhere. In addition, Nadezhda did not like the fact that her daughter-in-law wanted to throw away all the books lovingly collected for decades and which were so precious to her. Look, Pavel, Nadezhda, all the walls are full of shelves and there are books everywhere. How much dust do they collect? What if we have a baby? Will he breathe it all in? No way. We should throw it away or give it away. Ira, the books will stay where they are. If you don't like it, dust them off. And if you don't want it, that's your choice. You can live somewhere else. You're already both working. Get your own flat. After a few such conversations, Pavel could not stand the difficult situation in the house, rented a place, and moved there with his wife. Pavel was a kind and good boy, often visiting her, bringing her medicine and groceries. On weekends, he would drop in just to sit and chat and share the news. On one such visit, Pavel informed her that Irina was pregnant and now there would be more expenses. Mom, can't you two make up already? Why do you always fight? Your grandson is about to be born. Your help will come in handy. I don't mind, son, but your Ira doesn't want to get along with me. I do everything wrong. I don't cook right, I don't talk right, and the last time you came together, do you remember what she did? She said it's time for you to write your will, Nadezhda. You don't know how long you have left. What kind of disrespect is that, Pasha? She's got a calculator instead of eyes. Everything she's looking at, she's already estimating. How will we live together? Okay, Mom, don't get upset. We'll figure something out. Pavel hugged his mother. This went on until one day Nadezhda met an older man, Semyon Semyonovich, a retired military retiree, during a walk. They got to talking and found their thoughts and views very much in common. Both were single. Nadezhda had a son and a daughter-in-law, while Semyon was a childless widower. They would meet more often, and Nadezhda felt a soulmate in her new friend. They soon decided to brighten up each other's loneliness. The elderly woman invited her son and daughter-in-law to dinner and introduced them. Meet Pasha and Ira. This is my friend Semyon. We're going to get together and live together. Semyon has a proposal for you. Semyon said, I suggest you don't waste money on renting a flat and move into my one-room flat. It's not in the center, of course, but it's on the outskirts. But Nadia and I thought it would be better for you. At this point, Irina couldn't stand it and mocked him. Me and the future child benefit from living in who knows where, and it is not profitable for you to move here to the center to a huge flat, right? Nadezhda felt unbearably ashamed of her daughter-in-law. What are you talking about, Irina? Semyon has wholeheartedly offered you his flat. What kind of ingratitude is that? Pavel flashed at his wife's words and said curtly, Ira, hurry up, we are leaving. Mom, Semyon, forgive my wife's antics. She's pregnant. Apparently hormones are playing up. She does not know what she's saying. They went away, and the elderly people were sitting at the table for a long time, upset by the unpleasant incident, but they decided to postpone the move. Nadezhda grimaced. Unpleasant memories again gave her a headache. Suddenly, a menacing woman in a white coat entered the room. Without a word, she took the woman's arm and checked for a pulse. Honey, can you please explain to me where I am? How did I get here? Don't you remember? Yeah, you're out of your mind. What you did, how you behaved, like a violent woman? They wanted to put a straitjacket on you. What are you talking about? Nadezhda became indignant. I'm in my right mind. I've never behaved like you are telling me. Your neighbor is coming from the procedure and you can ask her if you do not believe me. The woman gave her an injection and came out. A few minutes later, an elderly woman entered the room and sat down on her bed. Hello, my name is Lydia Dmitrievna, and you are Nadezhda, right? Yes, Nadezhda answered confusedly. Lydia Dmitrievna, please tell me what's going on. How did I come to be here? Like all of us, by the careful efforts of our relatives, Lydia smiled. Do you want me to guess? You must have a good house and some savings, right? Yes, Nadezhda nodded. But my son could not do that. He loves me. We all thought so, Lydia shrugged, but then we ended up here. In case you haven't been told, this is a closed residential home. In simple terms, a home for the elderly. And there is no way out of here. Even visit rarely. How? The elderly woman looked at the lattice windows in a daze. They cannot keep us here against our will. Who should we complain to? We all have diagnoses, some with senile dementia, some with schizophrenia. We're a danger to society as well as to ourselves. What the hell is this? Nadezhda screamed. I'm in my right mind. I feel fine. You calm down. Don't break your heart. Lydia sat down beside her and hugged her. All of us have gone through unpleasant things, through indignation. You will only make things worse for yourself. In the end, we all accepted it. It is easier that way. But it's not right, Nadezhda cried. It shouldn't be like this. My son and Semyon, they'll find out and take me away. Don't get your hopes up, my dear. Whoever put you here must have taken care of everything and cleaned up the mess. Have you been feeling all right lately? You haven't had any strange attacks? Nadezhda thought about it. It was true. A couple of times she fainted, and it was always during the visit of her son and daughter-in-law. Then Pasha said that she did something a couple of times. She broke something from the dishes, but she herself did not remember it. The woman suddenly distinctly remembered the pitying look of her son and the gloating, triumphant look of her daughter-in-law. Understanding of the situation slowly filled Nadezhda. What to do now, Lydia? Tiredly she asked her neighbor. Nothing yet, Lydia clarified. If you start to complain or behave inadequately, you will be sorry. Have you seen Cerebrus in a skirt? She came in front of me. She's the one to watch out for. The head doctor is a monstrous and ruthless woman. I resisted at first too, but she shocked me in the SHU. There's a soundproof room. They also injected me with some horrible drugs that make you lose your life for a few days. Then you're in pain for a couple of weeks. You lie there like a plant. My God, what is the matter with people? Nadezhda is completely downcast. What to do? Who to turn to? I don't want to spend the rest of my days alone behind bars. We have to think of something. Suddenly, the woman confidently grabbed her neighbor's hands. Lydia, do you want to get out of here? Of course, everyone does. Lydia nodded. I'm glad you're not like a vegetable, willing to do anything. I was lucky to find an ally in you. Nadia, I've been investigating for a long time. I ask something in passing. I accidentally look in the wrong place. I overhear something somewhere. I'm quiet. Everyone thinks I put up with it and I'm fine here. I even try to help the staff, where I give out medicine, where I take food. I have a clear idea of everything. Old people come here when they disturb some of their relatives. Cerebrus gives them some kind of medicine, like a hallucinogen. A relative slips the undesirables this stuff. Couple of seizures, call an ambulance. Usually the third or fourth time they're brought here. And we can't prove anything. The state of violent insanity is documented by the paramedics. There's no way of knowing. But that's a crime. Why has no one complained to the police? Nadezhda could not bear the monstrous truth, because before you know it, you're already locked up in that damned closed retirement home. And the head doctor gets a huge sum of money from satisfied relatives who got rid of unwanted old people. But don't give up. It's not for nothing that I've been rubbing my nose in for so long. Tomorrow, the good nurse Sasha is coming in for the night shift. I've become good friends with her. I help out a little now and then, take out a chamber pot or change a bed. She's a good girl, an orphan, but she's very afraid of the head doctor and she doesn't want to lose her job. The pay is very good here. Tomorrow, I'll arrange it with Sasha and she'll give me the phone number. That's where I need you. Have you called the police? Nadezhda became excited. What police? If anyone believes you, by the time they get here, we'll be drooling and talking in crazy voices. We'll be stuffed with some drugs right away. I don't have anyone to call. My daughter's all I have. I know who put me there. But maybe you have someone to help? My son Pasha and Semyon, Nadezhda answered uncertainly. About the son, do not hurry. Even if he does not know the affairs of his wife, he may spill the beans. His wife will tell the chief doctor and then all is lost. Who's Semyon? He's a friend of mine, a retired military man. We wanted to move in just before all this trouble. There you are, Lydia smiled. A retired military man. That's the best. You can rely on him. You remember the number? By heart, smiled Nadia. The next day, the friends made a plan in great detail. By evening, they were waiting for Sasha, a young nurse. When Sasha looked into the women's room, they rushed to her as if she were their savior. Sasha, finally! Quiet. Frightened, the girl looked around. Don't let me down. She handed the phone with the words, "You have 5 minutes," and disappeared behind the door. With trembling fingers, Nadezhda dialed the familiar number, and after long rings without any hope of any answer, she heard, "Hello, who is it?" "Senya, it's me." "Nadia?" Semyon was surprised. "Where are you? Whose number is this?" "Wait, I don't have much time. Listen to me and help us." Exactly 1 hour later, there was a persistent knock at the gates of the nursing home. The guards didn't even have time to orientate themselves and inform the head doctor when they found themselves isolated and locked out. The policemen silently entered the building and went straight to the chief doctor's office. A satisfied Semyon followed them proudly. He found his friend's room and entered. "Nadia, darling!" Nadezhda rushed to him. "It all worked out. Of course, Nadia, I had no idea this was happening. I was told that you had been ill, that you had suffered several seizures, that you had been sent to a nursing home for treatment for several months. It's just lucky that you were able to find a way out and get through to me." "It's not me. It's my new friend. Meet Lydia." She'd been hatching this plan for a long time. She just didn't have anyone to call. It was the only family member who put her here. "Nice to meet you," said Semyon and Lydia together. The next day, Semyon, Nadezhda, Lydia, and Pavel sat in Nadezhda's kitchen and listened to the retired military man's report. It was painful to look at Pavel. He was morally crushed, and as if he had aged 10 years. The man could not believe what he had found about his wife. "How could Ira do this to us? You're my mother. We're about to have a baby. Carrying a new life under your heart and having such a black soul? I don't understand." Nadezhda stroked her son's hair tenderly. "It's all right, Pasha. Everything will be forgotten." "So, Semyon, how did things develop when we left?" Semyon told everything. Everything turned out unexpectedly for the head doctor. She had all the records with the amount for each patient. Pseudo-diagnosis. This brutal woman developed her activities a long time ago. First, she helped out through an acquaintance, then another, and then she realized what she could gain from it. Besides, she had a hedge against accusations. This heartless woman recorded all her conversations with grateful relatives so that they could not deny it and blame everything on her. It is possible that she was going to blackmail them in the future after receiving her inheritance. You can't imagine the scale of this crime. Several dozen old men have been victimized by their children, sibling, daughters-in-law, and sons-in-law, and now they are all free, and the relatives are awaiting trial, led by the head doctor. Semyon moved in with a friend so that she was never left unattended again. They were often visited by Lydia. They would sit for hours with a cup of tea, chatting or watching TV. As Nadezhda said, the friendship that came with such terrible circumstances is one for the rest of their lives. Pavel moved into Semyon's flat. Irina, in prison, gave birth to a child, and his father took his son away. To the joy of his mother and Lydia, Pavel became close to Sasha, a nurse from the nursing home. He divorced his wife and married Sasha, thanks to whom so many old people found themselves back in their homes, practically breaking free from their terrible confinement.